The concept of presence isn't just about how you walk into a room. It is rooted in the silent signals your body and face send to the world before you even speak a word. We often think of personality as something hidden deep inside, but the field of physiognomy, the study of facial features, suggests that our physical traits act as a biological map of our inner nature. When you look at a woman's features, you aren't just seeing aesthetics. You are seeing a reflection of her temperament, her history, and her psychological leanings. It might sound like a reach at first, but think about how often you just know someone is approachable or intense just by looking at them. This is your brain processing microsignals that have been studied for centuries. There is a deep, fascinating psychology behind specific physical traits, and full, prominent lips are one of the most powerful indicators of a person's nature. In psychological profiling, full lips are frequently associated with a high capacity for nurturing and a deeply ingrained desire to protect and care for others. This isn't just about appearance, it's about a personality type that is often more expressive, emotionally available, and sensory-driven. These individuals tend to prioritize social harmony and are often more attuned to the needs of those around them. Understanding this connection between the physical and the psychological allows you to navigate social dynamics with a much higher level of precision. However, to truly decode what these features mean, you have to look at the bigger picture of human behavior. You cannot understand one specific trait in a vacuum without first mastering the fundamental laws that dictate how we interact, how we form attractions, and how we build successful lives. These laws are the invisible forces behind every handshake, every gaze, and every relationship you will ever have. Before we dive into the specific mystery of what a woman's features reveal, you must first equip yourself with the psychological tools to understand why these signals matter and how they influence the world's perception of you. Presence is the ultimate leverage, and once you learn to read it, you will never look at a person the same way again. True self-mastery begins the moment you realize that your environment is the silent architect of your future. If you want to change your life, you have to start with the most uncomfortable truth. You are the average of the people you spend the most time with. The fastest way to elevate your existence is to aggressively audit your inner circle. You must surround yourself exclusively with individuals who refuse to let you stay comfortable, who challenge your limited perspectives, and who force you to grow by the sheer weight of their own ambition. Growth is painful, but it is the only real leverage you have to change your world. When you improve yourself, your value increases, your impact widens, and your ability to influence your surroundings becomes undeniable. You cannot change your external reality until you have mastered your internal discipline. Part of this mastery involves accepting a harsh social reality. No matter how good of a person you are, or how pure your intentions might be, you will always be the villain in someone's story. You could offer the world nothing but kindness, and there will still be someone who perceives your success as a threat, or your boundaries as an insult. The key to mental freedom is to stop trying to edit the version of you that exists in other people's minds. You cannot control their narrative, so stop wasting your energy trying to defend yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Once you accept that you aren't for everyone, you find a level of peace that most people spend their entire lives chasing. A calm mind is your greatest asset in a chaotic world, but you can only maintain that calmness if you protect your mental space with absolute ruthlessness. This protection requires you to stop letting toxic, negative people rent space in your head for free. Every minute you spend ruminating on a critic's words or an enemy's actions is a minute you've stolen from your own progress. These people thrive on your attention. They want to weigh you down with their drama and pull you into their cycle of stagnation. If someone is not adding direct value to your life, whether that value is emotional support, intellectual growth, or genuine joy, you have a fundamental obligation to yourself to kick them out. Raise the rent on your mental energy until only the highest quality people can afford to be there. By removing the fluff and the friction from your social life, you create the vacuum necessary for true greatness to rush in. Self-mastery isn't about being light, it's about being so grounded in your own growth that the opinions of the stagnant no longer have the power to move you. The mechanics of attraction are often misunderstood, but modern psychological research points toward a blunt and undeniable reality. While physical attraction might spark an initial gaze, long-term attraction is fueled by stability and drive. Statistically, women are more drawn to financial security and a man's sense of ambition than they are to raw, fleeting physical looks. This isn't about being superficial, it is an evolutionary response to safety and reliability. Ambition is a signal of a man's ability to navigate the world, provide, and protect. It shows that he has a vision for the future and the discipline to achieve it. When a woman sees a man who is focused on his goals and has his life in order, it creates a sense of psychological comfort that physical features alone can never provide. Success and status act as the ultimate social proof, opening doors and building immediate interest that sets you apart from the crowd. However, getting in the door is only the first step. While status and ambition build the foundation of interest, they aren't enough to sustain a deep, lasting connection. This is where the status-connection gap comes into play. You can have all the wealth and power in the world, but if you lack the ability to connect on a human level, the relationship will eventually hollow out. The secret weapon for long-term longevity is actually much simpler and more accessible than a bank account. It's laughter. Scientific data consistently shows that couples who prioritize humor and spend at least 10 minutes a day laughing together develop a significantly more resilient bond. Laughter releases oxytocin and reduces cortisol, literally rewiring the brain to associate that partner with safety and joy. It acts as a shock absorber for the inevitable stresses of life, turning a fragile partnership into an unbreakable alliance. Ultimately, the most successful men understand that while success gets you through the door, emotional intelligence is what keeps you in the room. Emotional intelligence is the bridge between being a provider and being a partner. It is the ability to read the room, understand unspoken needs, and navigate the complexities of human emotion without losing your cool. If ambition is the engine that drives your routes or relationships along the way, when you combine the external power of financial stability with the internal skill of genuine connection, you become a high-value individual who doesn't just attract people, you keep them. You become the person who is not only respected in the boardroom, but deeply cherished in the home, creating a life of both impact and intimacy. The psychology of facial features goes far deeper than mere aesthetics. It is an intricate study of how our biological makeup influences our behavioral patterns. When we look at the specific mystery of full, prominent lips, we are looking at a physical trait that has been linked across various psychological studies to heightened sensory perception. This isn't just a coincidence or a trend in beauty standards. It is rooted in human biology. Physically, larger lips contain a significantly higher density of nerve endings compared to thinner ones. This means that individuals with this trait are often literally more in touch with their environment. They experience physical sensations, tastes, and even emotional atmospheres with a greater level of intensity. This heightened sensitivity often translates into a personality that is naturally more nurturing, expressive, and deeply attuned to the nuances of human interaction. When you understand the science of nerve density, you begin to see that full lips are actually a biological signal of high emotional engagement. Because these individuals process sensory information so acutely, they tend to be more empathetic and responsive to the needs of others. In the world of psychological profiling, this physical trait is frequently seen in people who possess a strong caretaker instinct. They are often the ones who can walk into a room and immediately sense the tension or the joy without anyone saying a word. They don't just see the world, they feel it. This makes them incredibly effective communicators because their expressions and their reactions are naturally more vivid and genuine. They aren't just attractive in a conventional sense, they possess a magnetic emotional warmth that draws people in because it signals a capacity for deep connection and safety. Beyond the individual, this trait serves as a powerful indicator of how someone navigates their relationships and their social world. A woman with fuller lips is often more predisposed to be an emotional anchor, someone who is comfortable with intimacy and isn't afraid to express her feelings openly. Because she is wired for higher sensory input, she often seeks out environments and relationships that are rich in meaning and depth. She isn't interested in the shallow or the superficial because her biology is designed for intensity. When you look at someone through this lens of psychological facts, you realize that every feature on a person's face is a clue to their inner world. You aren't just looking at a person. You are reading a biological manuscript that tells you exactly how they process the world around them. Understanding these signals gives you a massive advantage in human connection, allowing you to see the soul behind the skin, The time has come to stop being a passive observer of your own life and start becoming the conscious architect of your future. If the insights we've discussed today hit home and you feel that internal shift in your perspective, I want you to take the first step toward commitment right now. Type yes in the comments. This isn't just about an algorithm. It is a psychological micro-commitment that tells your brain you are ready to apply these lessons rather than just forgetting them 5 minutes from now. While you're at it, tell me exactly which part of this breakdown resonated with you most. Was it the truth about social circles, the reality of attraction, or the hidden signals in human biology? Sharing your perspective doesn't just help the community, it forces you to articulate your own growth, making the lesson stick. You have to realize that your life is a narrative that is being written every single second, and the most dangerous mistake you can make is letting someone else hold the pen. Too many people live as side characters in their own stories, allowing the opinions of toxic friends, the expectations of society, or the ghosts of their past to dictate their next chapter. You must reclaim that pen with absolute authority. You are the only one who should be defining your worth, setting your boundaries, and deciding which direction your story takes next. If you don't take control of the narrative, someone else will write it for you, and they will almost certainly write it in a way that serves their interests, not yours. Self-mastery is about the ruthless ownership of your own timeline. This is only the beginning of your journey into understanding the invisible forces that govern human nature. The mind is a vast territory, and most people spend their entire lives walking its paths without a map. We are here to provide that map. For more deep dives into the mechanics of the human mind and the psychological facts that give you an unfair advantage in life, make sure you watch our next breakdown. We are constantly peeling back the layers of behavior, attraction, and power to help you navigate the world with total clarity. Don't let your growth stagnate here. Stay curious, stay disciplined, and above all, stay sharp. The world belongs to those who understand how it actually works,